Hello, I'm Azeem Azhar, and welcome to Really Possible from Elastic. Today I'm talking to industry leaders about artificial intelligence. What's getting them excited about the technology? What do they want to build? And how is it going to change their organizations? So what's making you excited about AI today rather than over the past 25 years?
We've gone from every use case under the sun not working very well to many things we really loved working rather well. So my excitement now is seeing what people are trying to solve with it. And new creative things that I haven't seen for the last 20 years that we've tried over and over again.
And how does AI then take us beyond search, beyond the amazing things we've already done with our data?
You know, it's like a car with 5 speeds. We get used to using the 5 speeds, but suddenly we get an automatic car and we all see the light. This is a new relationship with knowledge. So I think we're still at a point now where we have to redefine our relationship with knowledge. And it's exciting, while at the same time, we have to take a moment and think, yes, we love these language models because of what they know of language. Not because of what they know of knowledge, and certainly not what they know of reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. I've been in this field for 17 years, and I would have said every year was the most exciting year for the last 17 years. And it seems like there's no bound to the level of kind of fervor and increased debate.
Let's look out over the next 2 years. What are you most excited about? What will companies be doing with this technology in a couple of years' time?
I'm most excited about generative models taking actions. So if you think about the modalities that we've seen, went from text to image to video, but one of the missing modalities is actually taking an action. And the most obvious action that these models can take is actions in software. Imagine you were recruiting for an assistant and the person said, I can't use a computer. Right. I can talk to you. I'll talk to you all day long. I mean, I refuse. I'm being clear, but like...
or I'm not capable of doing it.
I'm not capable of doing it. And these models need to be able to perceive software, take actions in software, use APIs. The current approach we have where we give them, a list of 10 or 20 tools to use isn't sufficient for many use cases. They need to be able to interact with any website.
A quarter of a century of working in this technology. Are you more excited now than perhaps you have been over the past 25 years?
I'm excited, I think, because there's now a collective zeitgeist and understanding about the transformative impact that these technologies are having. And I think people are now looking at engaging both how do they bring these technologies into their organizations to accelerate their transformation, to improve efficiency and effectiveness, but also how can they be used to disrupt industries, as well as the macro impact that these technologies are going to have on society. So we're actually going to face, I think, a lot of big questions as a species over the coming decades, which is very exciting.
You take out all the frictions, businesses become more efficient and more productive. Let's talk about the next step, which is getting them to do new things. How does AI, its connection to leadership, talent, and data, allow businesses to do those new things, to innovate?
I would argue the only differentiator, certainly in my industry, is creativity. It's human creativity. How can you unlock and allow human beings to come up with new ideas that differentiate the use of that technology? And so what I'm excited about is how can these technologies free people up from doing these repetitive tasks and give them the tools to push the boundaries of creativity. And that, I don't necessarily mean creativity with respect to marketing, but how can we come up with new ideas to get our products and services to people in a much more innovative and active way?
What are you most excited about with the technology? Because the conversation doesn't end today. We're going to be having it in 2 years and 5 years' time and 10 years' time probably. But in the next couple of years, about the technology, what's most exciting?
And so what I'm excited about actually is that when we start to deploy these technologies and when they start to go right or wrong, we're going to have to start to face questions around intent. Is the intent that we're applying these technologies appropriate? So there's going to be much more emphasis on ethics. I think we have to ask ourselves, can we make algorithms explainable? Because these algorithms will have a material impact on people's lives, and that explainability will surface insights that actually allow us to make better decisions. But one of the other things that's quite exciting is is these algorithms can move the needle so much in solving a problem that you now need to not ask yourself what happens if it goes wrong, but what happens if it goes very right, which is now a different way we have to think about designing technology. Because if it goes very, very right, it can actually cause harm elsewhere in the supply chain. So I think it's gonna level up our ability to think about how we safely and more responsibly deploy these technologies. I think that's very exciting.
The world has got pretty intrigued with artificial intelligence. What do you make of it?
It is exciting. I guess the other thing to note about AI is that it's much bigger than the set of things that are grabbing everybody's attention right now. So it's a very big continent, the continent of AI, and there's sort of one like really hot neighborhood with some exciting nightclubs right now that everybody's excited about. And one of the things that I hope is going to happen is that people will realize how much value there is in making sense of the world through data generally, of which the things that people are really excited about right now is an exciting manifestation, but there's so many other things that people can do to just try to make sense of the world through data.
So let's step back a little bit and ask the question of this exciting landscape of which data forms a part of it. How should we think of data and what difference it makes to the world?
For businesses in particular, I think what's really a wide open space and the greatest opportunity is how do we use data to decide what is the right lever to pull or the right treatment in a particular context, which is slightly different than the goal of simply describing the world or predicting what's going to happen in the absence of some intervention. I think within even the exciting city that is within AI, there's a sort of maybe an alternative neighborhood that surrounds it, and I think deserves some exploration as well, which is embeddings and the general problem of how do we quantize, how do we represent as numbers some rich structured data set. Could be text, obviously, or images or video, or it could be something more abstract like the user journey. These technologies give us a way of simply representing it as numbers, which for quantitative people is our happy place. Once a document simply becomes a list of numbers, then we have a lot of tools we can bring to bear.
Find out what's really possible for your business with Search AI. Learn more at explore.elastic.co.